Hello everyone, my name is Elin102. Um, I'm here to tackle about the anthropological linguistic. And of course, before I started, I just want to greet our instructor, Miss Bay, and of course, my fellow classmates. Linguistic is the science of language. It deals with the study of human language. For year 2007. According to Hanners, anthropology is the science of humanity which studies human being and aspects of society and culture. Thus, linguistic anthropology is the study of how language is used in everyday life and how it is integrated into the various cultures around the world. Rowe 2006 to 11. The aim of this study is to understand why the people of the culture do a particular thing. Based on the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis in Rowe 2006 to 11, they propose that people of different cultures think and behave differently because the language that they speak require them to do so. In other words, the way individuals view the world around them is affected by the language they use to interpret their world. Anthropological linguistics. Since only humans speak, anthropologists are nearly interested in language use, structure and change, and the relations among language, society, and culture. The study included speech communities, the performing of language, language socialization, and power in language. And this is the type of language. Anthropology language. Number one is speech communities. Gompers in 1968-66 said that this universe is the speech community. Any human association characterized by regular, frequent interaction by means of a shared body of verbal signs and set off from similar association by significant differences in language usage. The concept speech community initially focused on language system, relationships, and boundaries. It expanded to include the notion of social representation and norms in the form of attitudes, values, beliefs, and practices. Morgan 2004-8. Number 2 is the performing of language. The performing of language can be separated to conversation as a culture and gesture. In the Conversations as a Culture, Goffman's studies of the other lines of interaction in Durante 2004-170, based on his own observations, revealed important ways we could look at how people actively collaborate in the everyday presentation and interpretation of selves and activities, and how interpretations are mediated through conventions learned over multiple prior contexts and experiences. Now we will explain how to speak to your elders. In America, you always refer to your elders as mom or sir. You must be respectful. It is polite to assist them with their tasks. Be respectful at all times. When riding in the car, it is polite to let the elders sit in the front seat. Asking marital status is considered rude. In Japan, respect for your elders is a huge concept. You may bow them when saying hello or goodbye. When addressing your authority members, you would use a word in Japanese that means thank you for working for us. While talking to your mom, you would say mother instead of mama. If you're speaking to an elder, you must say their name with the san at the end as a sign of respect. Oftentimes in high school or middle school, students will refer to older students as senpai, which is a sign of respect. If you don't call them by their titles, it could be considered inappropriate. And of course, in the Philippines, the first sign of respect to your elders in the Philippines is when you meet them. And this is a sign of putting their hand on your forehead. A word of respect in the language would be po. It is used in a lot of settings. When your elders ask you to do something, it is called utos. And if you refuse, it is very shameful. Openly criticizing people would be considered rude. In our gesture, people routinely gesture is interaction, and we commonly assume their gestures are meaningful. These range from gesture and a body language to the use of interpersonal space, the employment of signs and symbols, and the use of time structures. Beamon 2012 545. In America, gestures. It is It is acceptable to use the okay hand gesture, the thumbs up hand gesture, to motion to someone to come here by curling your finger at them. These are not considered rude in America to prolong eye contact when showing you are listening to someone, and a sign of confidence when you stand with your hands on your hips in public. It will be rude if you pick your nose in public. The middle finger to someone's face is widely known as an aggressive gesture but is mostly used in America to signal the F word. In Asia, nose speaking is very ugly to watch in Western countries. Though in Asia, especially China, it is perfectly acceptable to pick your nose in public. Prolong your eye contact is considered rude mostly everywhere in Asia. Greetings in America. When two people meet each other, it's necessity to shake hands with other person. Only hand to hand when meeting a stranger. Between two friends, most people will either high five, first bump, or hug the person they are meeting. In Europe, in most Europe, when meeting someone, you meet them with a kiss to cheek, except in England, where touching is not positively looked at. Usually a handshake or a nod is exchanged. In Asia, instead of shaking hands, most people either exchange a kiss to the cheek. Same gender gestures. In America, it is considered homosexual when two of the same sex hold hands in public, and it makes many people uncomfortable. In South America, it is dangerous to hold hands with same gender because homosexuality is extremely looked down on. In Asia, it is acceptable for two of same sex to hold hands in public without people coming to the conclusion that they are homosexual. Language socialization. Eleanor Ox and Bambi B. Cleflin in Durante 2001-8 na 03 defined language socialization as the process of getting socialized through language and the process of getting socialized to the language. The study should fulfill three criteria: ethnographic in design, longitudinal perspective, and demonstrate the accusation or not of particular linguistic and cultural practices over time and across contexts of Colic and Skiffelin 2004 350. Number 4. Power in language. Language plays a crucial role in mediating differences in power between speakers. There are 5 levels of language ideologies. Number 1 is group of or individual interest. Number 2 is multiplicity of ideologies. Number 3, awareness of speakers. Number 4, mediating functions of ideologies. And number 5, rule of language, ideology, identity, construction. As I close, anthropological linguistic is very important. Yes, we're not the same culture, we're not the same beliefs or tradition, but as I mentioned before, we need to respect for each country. Of course, in America, Asia, Europe, and other countries, and also in our Philippines. So that's all. Thank you. In our closing, linguistic anthropology examines language through the lenses of anthropological concerns. The concerns include the transmission and reproduction of culture, the relationship between cultural systems and different forms of social organization, and the rule of the material conditions of existence in a people understanding of the world. Durante 1997. So the relationship between the environment, the culture, and the language of a people is self-reinforcing. Rowe 2006-212. That's all. Thank you and God bless. It's the end of the report. Thanks for listening. God bless.